Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. I have half a cup of coffee left here. And I probably won't drink it because it's 1 o'clock by the time I got around to doing this. Let's do a t-shirt check. I'm gonna have to stand up. I have a Jane Eyre t-shirt on today. Welcome to Web of Stories. I am here with my weekly wrap up, and this is gonna be kind of short because I only finished one book. If you saw my mid-month book bash, which came out on Saturday, or no, it came out Thursday today, that you see this will be Saturday. Today's Friday, so it was yesterday for me, but 2 days ago when you see it. Talked about how I had way too many things going on, way too many books going. And so I paused some, but because I had so many books going at once, it's kind of hard to finish things, but I did manage to finish one thing, and now my camera is crooked again. There you go. Anyway, so the one book I finished, and I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to talk about something else. But anyway, the book I finished was The Distant Marvels by Chantel Acevedo. And this is for Mariandria at Books and Bocadillos, her book club. This is a library copy. This is not the copy I had on pre-order because that is still waiting. I don't know if I'm going to get that or not. If I get it, that'll be fine because it'll go on my shelf because this was a 5-star book for me. So this is one of those books where someone basically recounts their life. So we start in Cuba in 1963, and this is right there's a hurricane here, and I read somewhere that this hurricane sort of marked the beginning of Castro's ascension. So we're kind of like right on the edge there. And there is an elderly woman who doesn't want to leave her house. Like, she's refusing to leave her house. This hurricane's coming. And then finally, like, police officer, army woman, something comes and like forces her out of the house, puts her on a bus with these other women to take her to a safe place. And they go to this old hotel, and they're all sequestered in a room on a floor. They're like separated from the men, I guess. And so she, the main character's name is Maria Serena. Earlier in her life, she had been what was the word they forgot? A lectora. So what she did was she basically told stories to men who are working in a cigar factory. So she starts telling the story of her life. And that's basically what this book is. There's a little bit of I don't even know if I'd go so far to say it's a mystery, but something happened to her. Something happened and then what ultimately ends up happening is not what I expected. She had quite an eventful life. So most of this story is told during the period of what Americans would call the Spanish-American War. That's American hubris because it's not really about America. It's about Cuba. And she's Cuban. And so her parents were these fiery people. They were rebels, resistors, whatever. And it was her experience as a teenager at this point going through that. And she went through some really hard things. This was a very well written book. I liked the format of like all the women together. And then there's an issue of something that's kind of going on between her and one of the women, and that adds a nice little element of tension too that kind of works out well over the whole scope of the story, I thought. And you can tell that at times Maria Serena is censoring herself. Like there are places she doesn't want to go. And they kind of get her to go there, but she does go through and tell her story. There's not much more to the plot than that other than this is this woman's story. But I love this. I was sucked in. I was, we'd have scenes of them all in the hotel. And then the hurricane in here is scary. I just want to say that. Scary hurricane. And then we would go back to her life. And I did feel like when we would switch back to like the present, the 1963 storyline, I'd be like, but we're back. But I never felt like I was being robbed. Like I felt like I was being paused for effect, if that makes sense. It worked out really well. So I have never read this author before. I had never heard of her. She's Cuban American, but she was born in the United States. So I don't think she ever lived in Cuba, but she is Cuban American. And yeah, great book. Really recommend it. This is put out by Europa Editions, which is a great publisher. So yeah, Mariandria did say that they are coming out with a new edition of this book, and that might be why I'm back ordered on the edition that I ordered. I don't know. We're going to see what happens with that, but I did really enjoy this. So that's the book. That's what I finished this week. I have a lot going on. I unpaused my short story collection when I finished this. So I'm back reading that short story collection. I am reading my month-long read-along with Agnes Gray. Maria Andrea and I are doing a buddy read of Searching for Sunday. I have the Book Naturalist Book Club. I have SPQR, which I'm not going to finish before I go on vacation. So I've decided that I'm just going to take that one on vacation with me because I think my husband has said he wants to read it. So that'll be a good thing to just hand to him when I'm done reading. So I'm just going to take it on vacation. I'm going to read what I can and take the rest on vacation. What else am I reading? Excuse me. I still have the Dutch House going. I haven't been able to get to that for a couple days, and I want to because I have been really enjoying that. So yeah, and then today I am definitely going to be filming the booktuber bio tag, which you'll see later this month. And I'm hoping to do my April TBR, film it today, which is going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing. That's all I can say. It's already overwhelming. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about. I spend a fair amount of time on Threads. Yes, I know it's meta. I know it's Mark Zuckerberg. I have tried, I am on Bluesky. I'm not very, very often. Bluesky just feels really overwhelming to me. And I had been on Meta since I joined Threads. I joined Threads the day it opened up. So I have been there the entire time. And I just feel like the engagement there for me is just a lot better. I am trying to get better over on Bluesky. It's just, I would like to not be in the metaverse, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, I came across a series of different posts people did. Let me see if I can pull this over here. Did this last week or so about ARCs or ARCs, which are advanced reader copies. Someone said, you should have every right to sell your ARC when you're done. And then a writer comes in and is like, no, you can't even give it away. And it was a really interesting back and forth. And people's arguments for them. The people who say you should be free to sell it say, it was given to you, it belongs to you at this point. And we're talking about print ARCs at this point, obviously not digital, because you can't really sell a digital ARC and you can't really give it away. We're talking about the physical ones. It's theirs, and publishers can't stop you from doing it, is basically what they're saying. And authors are saying, this was not our final work. This is not the one we want out in the world. We gave this out, or a publisher gave it out just to start getting publicity go. It was not meant for people to read. And I thought about this. I don't get that many ARCs these days. If you saw 2 mid-month book bashes ago, I showed you my library now has a thing where they put out like a handful of ARCs at a time and you can just take them. So that's kind of where I'm getting ARCs right now. But there was a time in my life where I was getting 10, 15 ARCs a month. So I have a little bit of experience in this, and I'm going to just tell you where I stand on this. So I have this one right here. This is my husband, my Maud Ventura, and I picked this up at the library, one of theirs, the last time I went. So this ARC, it is very clearly not the real copy. It doesn't look like one at all. And if you look on the back, it says uncorrected proof, not for sale. So on the selling point, my opinion is you should not sell these, because it says right there, don't do it. Like, maybe I'm just rule bound. I don't sell these. Now, if you're going to put your ARCs up on eBay, or you're going to, do what, something like that. I don't know if Penguin will do it, or, some little small scale, whatever, you're going to sell them at a garage sale or whatever. Yeah. Look, Harper V is not going to come after you. Okay. Yeah, true. You can, you are able to do that. That is an ability you have. I have seen ARCs for sale at the library bookstore, which I'm a little, maybe that's not great, but it's also like not a profit thing because it's going to support the library. So I'm a little okay for it. What does bother me though, and I have seen this more and more often, is I have seen ARCs for sale at Powell's. That I don't think is cool. I mean, first of all, Powell's is incredibly picky about the books they take for resale. I have gone in with boxes of books and they've taken 2. I don't. I mean, that's why I don't resell books at Powell's, because it's just not even worth the effort to take them in there. So how are they even getting these? Like, I would think these would be an immediate no-go at Powell's. I don't know why they're even being accepted for sale. And I do think selling it at a bookstore, which is a business, which is a for-profit business, I do not think it is cool for them to be selling ARCs. Because clearly they aren't selling the ARCs that were given to them to say, would you buy this book? They're selling ARCs that were donated to them, which is different. They had the opportunity to not put that down. And I do think that there's probably something along the lines that bookstores are not supposed to sell the ARCs that they are given, right? I think that's probably a thing, like strict. Okay, that they were given by the publisher. I should clear that. Okay, they aren't doing that, but they're giving them that people donated. I don't think that's cool. So I'm clearly on the side that you should not sell. Like, yes, you can. You are able to do it on a small level. No one's going to come after you. I just don't think you should. I don't. So I can only make decisions for my own behavior, and I don't do that. I also just don't sell books. So now, however, on the other side of things, what I do, I do not keep physical ARCs once I read them. I feel like if I read an ARC and it is so good that I want to keep the book, then I need to purchase a copy. That's sort of a deal I have. That's what I feel. I've always felt that way. So what do I do with them? I don't recycle them. I don't burn them. I don't throw them away. What am I going to do with these? I give them away. I have no qualms whatsoever handing an ARC to a friend. And I think that's perfectly appropriate. But more commonly, what I do is I put these in little free libraries. And this is where, hey, look, I see authors' points. Like, there could be mistakes in here, and there could be, this is not what they want out in the world. I get that. Also, but these are not rough drafts, right? Like, when you get to the point that it's an ARC, it's not a rough draft, right? And it does say on there, uncorrected proof. Right? So it's a disclaimer. There might be mistakes in here. And I mean, I have heard anecdotally once in a while, there will be an actual change to the story from the ARC. I think I've heard about that happening like once or twice. Usually the changes that you get in here are grammatical or mistake things, right? That are going to be changed from here to the final print. So I think, this says it. This gives you, and I get it as an author, but I also say, like, if you get an ARC and you are really mad because on page 168, there is a printing error, I don't care. That's not a reason to be mad, because it says right here, uncorrected proof. I have no qualms whatsoever putting these in little free libraries or giving them to people to read. I think that is a perfectly appropriate way of disposing of them, basically, because that's what it is. I like to call them releasing, but the point is, this book is not, I have not read this. Once I read this, it's not going to stay in my possession. If I want this story to stay in my possession, I need to purchase a copy of it somehow. And so what am I going to do with this physical item? Am I supposed to be? I mean, what do authors want me to do with these? Do they want me to recycle these? Because that breaks my heart. I mean, I will say, I understand we need to not be too precious about our books. Sometimes we are. Every time I tell the story about my friend and Bleak House, I always get like people like, oh, you just gave me a heart attack when I tell that story. So, I mean, we shouldn't be, but I also kind of feel like it is an uncorrected proof. It's not perfect, but it still has a value to someone. It still has love to give. So I'm just interested, if you're someone who gets a lot of ARCs, how do you feel about this? Do you feel it's okay for it to be sold on a small scale? I am not going to budge. I am convinced that it is wrong for bookstores to be selling ARCs. Just, you're not gonna convince me otherwise on that one. But like on a small scale, garage sales, eBay, whatever. Do you think that's okay? Do you think it's okay to distribute this out once you're done with it? If you're an author, how do you feel about it? Because I saw a wide range of opinions from authors. The people who were against these books leaving the reviewers' hands were the ones who definitely had the stronger opinions, but there were ones who say, look, I just want you to read my story. I'm more than happy if you put it in a little free library. By the way, I also know that some publishers have deals with little free library stewards where they will send them ARCs to put in little free libraries. So, you know, whatever. I'm just really interested what people think about this, because this was a little bit of a, I don't think it rose to the level of drama, but it definitely was a conversation that was on Threads this week. So there you go. I would love to hear your responses. Anyway, that's all I have for this week. Next week will probably be a much longer. I will probably have finished a number of things by next week. So that'll be a much longer video. Anyway, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, join my Discord. Feel free to leave me an emoji if you don't have a comment. Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading always says that. And I'm like, you should, that's a great way of doing it. So I have been trying to remember to leave emojis when I don't leave comments. There are a lot of times when I don't leave comments because I am watching videos like on my phone or something while I'm doing something else, that it's kind of hard to write comments, but I try to go back and do things. I'm trying to be better. I really am. Anyway, I'm babbling. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.